And hello everybody, my name is NikoTheLegend, and yes, the snowflake is still alive, the well-mannered teenager is still alive. And I know it's been a while since I've done one of these videos for Mass Effect, but you know, my Mass Effect videos have been seeing the light of day lately because maybe people are just getting so frustrated with BioWare and their Andromedas, their Anthems, their bullshit, blah blah blah, lies here and there. But, as of recent news, we actually got more news, whether you can believe it or not, and one person is calling bullshit on it. And I'm also calling bullshit on it. And the way I want to do this today, first of all, let's just talk about the topic. The foundation of Mass Effect's DLC wasn't built into the game. That's what we're going to be talking about. But Anthem has that from the ground, from the get-go. So, we today are calling bullshit on this, and I read through this article, and this is stuff that we already know that we wanted answered and we expected that we would have saw. So this might be a lazy way of doing it, but I kind of wanted to actually just read this whole article to you guys. Just kind of just sit back and relax and just hear what this person has to say, and then we can talk about it at the end of the video if it doesn't go over like an hour or something. I'm just kidding. It's not going to be an hour long. But I just wanted to get that down straight to the get-go so you guys are reminded what happened in Andromeda, because it has been a while. Many of us have not dived into the game in a long time. I sure as hell haven't, because the game sucks after one time of playthrough. It is boring. And I had plans to play it through like 4 different times, like and all the other Mass Effects. Good, bad for female, good, bad for male. Don't have that in that game though, in Andromeda. But anyways, like I said, I'm gonna be reading this article about this writer, this author, who's calling bullshit on Andromeda's foundation, the way it was built with its DLC. Apparently, it wasn't there to begin with. So, like I said, I'm calling bullshit as well, and we will get into what else is important at the end of this video. We'll relate topics and everything. So enjoy. Calling bullshit on BioWare's claims Mass Effect Andromeda wasn't built to support DLC. Hello there, I'm PlayStation Lifestyle's resident Mass Effect fangirl, and I would like to throw out a bullshit flag on a recent news story regarding Mass Effect Andromeda DLC. At PAX West 2018, Anthem lead producer Mike Gamble said that when it comes to Andromeda, the post-launch plans were never in place the way that they are for Anthem. The systems and tools weren't in place to support the long-term plans. Granted, he is talking about Anthem functioning as a live service game, like Destiny or The Division, and obviously Mass Effect Andromeda never had that in mind, nor should it have. However, claiming that Andromeda never had a good solid foundation to start from in regards to post-launch DLC cannot be correct. You don't even have to finish Andromeda to realize that BioWare always had a plan for post-launch DLC. Maybe the developers never created a foundation for DLC, but the game's writers most certainly did. I discussed in my review of Mass Effect Andromeda that the game's story was its weakest link. Part of the reason why the story was so weak is the fact it had so many unanswered questions. You can run through every single side quest, clear every marker on your map, and you still won't find answers. The Quarian Arc. Mass Effect Andromeda never specifically says how many arcs were a part of the Andromeda Initiative, but there are quite a few mentions of the missing Quarian Arc. Rumors fitted about that the Quarian Arc would be the subject of DLC, and why wouldn't it be? Why would BioWare have characters in-game mention the Arc at all, if the Quarians weren't going to make an appearance? The answer is BioWare wouldn't, unless this was some bad planning on the studio's part. Bad planning as in the narrative writers aren't communicating with anyone else on the team. Writer finds logs of the last time the Quarian Arc checked in, some of the Turians mentioned the missing Arc, etc. The Quarians are supposed to be there, plain and simple. There was obviously a plan in place for them regardless of what the foundation was. Who the fuck killed Jean Garson? There is an entire string of side quests pointing to the fact that the leader of the Andromeda Initiative, Jean Garson, was killed when the Nexus reached the Andromeda Galaxy. The first extended lore novel, Nexus Uprising, began with the discovery of her murder. They weren't able to investigate it at the time because they had so many other problems going on. If Sloane Kelly hadn't accidentally found herself on the side of the rebels when the Krogan were unleashed, which thus led to her exile, she most likely would have pursued solving the case. None of the other higher-ups seemed at all interested in doing so. One would think that upon discovering the crime scene on the Nexus, Ryder would have wanted to push for an investigation. Maybe not right away with the Ket threat going up, but surely she would want to find out who killed the person who helped recruit their father to the initiative. The fact that the initiative founder was murdered before they could properly settle Andromeda should be a major plot point. At the very least, writers should have been able to solve the case with side quests. The only reasonable explanation other than poor planning is that it was going to be explored in either DLC or extended lore. Otherwise, it makes as much sense as the Chewbacca defense to have exist at all. Who is the mysterious benefactor? Now, here's a mystery that stares at the player directly in the face without side quests and codex detours. One of the main quests unlocks Alec Ryder's computer system, which includes a recorded video chat he had with the main benefactor for the initiative. You have no idea who it is, however, because the benefactor alters his/her voice and switches out holograms of various people and races. The books and comics both suggested that not even Gene Garson knows who it is. There are plenty of theories on the interwebs about the Elusive Man from Mass Effect 2 and 3 funding the initiative, possibly as a failsafe if the Reapers succeeded in destroying the galaxy. It's a plausible theory, but it's still nothing concrete. The novel taps into both Alec and Jean trying to learn who it is, but that's as far as it goes. Once again, why introduce a mysterious benefactor without planning on revealing who it is? Most importantly, is the benefactor part of the reason why Jean was killed? These are just 3 of the largest unsolved mysteries Mass Effect Andromeda left behind. This isn't mentioning what the Scourge is, how it got there, where the Ket came from, and what was the civilization that created the terraforming temples on the Golden Worlds. You can't tell me BioWare never had a foundation or a plan for post-launch DLC. If the studio truly did not, then BioWare never planned on answering these questions. If that's the case, which is awful by the way, then I withdraw my bullshit flag. I'll replace it with a piss-poor planning flag instead. So that's basically it, and Mike Gamble, the guy who's working on Anthem, is saying that, you know, those plans never existed to begin with on expanding it. It wasn't built into the game originally on making all those things, you know, a reality, which I would call bullshit on that too, because those are like the 3 biggest things that we were all wondering about for the main part, and then obviously all the other all the other small stuff. There was a lot that needed to be answered in the game. And now I know the writers, the animators, a lot of the people were just skeleton crew, third string quarterbacks, kickers, punters, whatever, and everybody was worried about working on Anthem. So that's why we got like one of the worst games ever made with the worst mechanics of anything. The only thing that was decent enough was just the gameplay. That was it. And the graphics were okay. And I'm not talking about animation. I'm talking about like the aesthetic value and stuff. But a lot of people don't like Frostbite Engine. I get that. But nonetheless, these are things that now they're just completely throwing under the carpet like typical professionals would do. And when I mean typical, I mean people that can't admit the truth that they fucked up. For some reason, a lot of developers don't like to admit that they were wrong, and they put the blame on other stuff. They can't admit to the lies and to the guilt. For some reason, they don't want to just give us the cold hard truth. Look, I get it, guys. You have a business to run. You want to make shit happen. But guess what? You're leaving behind a big franchise for this new franchise that people didn't even ask for to begin with. So, that's kind of what I think about it. Let me know what you guys think about it below. Are you calling bullshit on Mike Gamble saying that Mass Effect Andromeda didn't even have a slate, a basis, or a foundation of anything planned for DLC compared to what Anthem is always online and has shit planned from the get-go? But thanks again. I know this was kind of a lazy way of doing this video, but hey, you know what? I'm sick of being the Pathfinder when there's no paths to find. There's no news to talk about, but this was one a little interesting. So, thanks again, Pathfinders. Signing out.